All right, that is Act 1 of the podcast. Act 2 is available right after this one. Go check it out. What are you doing? Don't miss a second of it. Thank you so much. Man Bun Chris says, I'm going to need a new coffee mug here soon. Thank you. I appreciate that. Black Belt Nick is here. He says the Defector hoodie is super warm for this cold weather. Thank you. Thank you for purchasing it. Okay. I'm going to kick you folks out that are watching on Facebook, YouTube, and Kick. I don't think anybody's watching on Kick. Nobody does. All right. Goodbye. For the rest of you, we're back at it. Let's see. What can we talk about now? This ICE agent is in his car in Minnesota, and this dude with a camera walks up to him. And this is the conversation that they have.
This, brother.
What?
You know, I will tell you this. You raise your voice, I raise your voice.
If I raise my voice, you'll erase my...
Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
Are you serious? You said if I raise my voice, you'll erase my voice?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So the ICE guy, I'll tell you this, brother. If you raise your voice, I will erase your voice.
This, brother.
What?
You know, I will tell you this. You raise your voice, I raise your voice.
Okay, so this guy is, he looks like he sounds like he speaks English for a second language. Like he actually sounds like he's from like Latin America. That's crazy.
I raise my voice, you'll erase my...
Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
Are you serious? You said if I raise my voice, you'll erase my voice?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's a lot to process there. How I didn't realize that there are Latinos that are members of ICE. If you raise your voice, I'll erase. So I think that means he's gonna take him out, or he's gonna unalive him, as it's being described. So Latino guy is helping ICE. He's part of ICE. Alan says one way to avoid ICE is to become ICE. Yes, that's if you can't beat them, join them. Rich with what is the Latino equivalent to Uncle Tom? David in Hudsonville says insane. Piano Fingerbanger says, when I first saw this, I thought it had to be AI. I don't know why it surprises me anymore. Got a phone call yesterday. My beloved daughter, Becca Shea, says, Uncle Tomas. Madison says to me, hang on, I got to sneeze. Oh, my God. Excuse me. She's at work yesterday, and ICE guy pulls up. Gets out of the vehicle, he's got the mask on. And first I'm like, are you kidding? She goes, no. And she works at a daycare. I don't want to say which one. An ICE guy pulls out his camera, and he starts shooting video of the front of the place and shooting video of, like, license plates. And nobody has any idea what's going on. And the person who owns the place says, what are you doing? He says, I'm an FBI agent. Police know I'm here. She calls the cops. Cops say, no. That was ICE. I was not an FBI agent, and we don't know he's there. And there isn't anything we can do about it. And so then I'm like, oh, fuck. I reach out to Madison, and I go, look. So what are you going to do in that scenario if ICE kicks in the door and they want to take people? She goes, well, I'm going to shoot video, and I'm going to tell them to go fuck themselves. I go, no, you're not. And she was like, I can't sit back. And I go, yeah, you can. I go, these people are not normal. It has been shown that they will shoot you. So we really didn't come to an agreement there. Piano Finger Banger says that's exactly what they want you to do, is nothing and comply. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. To me, it's not worth my life, you know? So, yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. It's all going to be over in 3 years. It's a long time, I know, but I think anybody that does anything other than let this play out, I'm sorry. This is foolish. Forget it. It's not worth your life. Rebecca says, if it's me, I'm probably going to jail. Piano Finger Banger says, aren't you the gun-toting Second Amendment proponent? I carry a gun. Yeah, so yeah, I guess so. And? Any law-abiding gun owner uses that when their life feels threatened. Okay? You don't just bust it out like fucking Billy the Kid or Yosemite Sam when you think there's an injustice happening. No. If my life is being threatened or another person's life is being threatened. So if Ice Guy is coming in to take an illegal immigrant, I'm not getting in the way of that. Fuck that shit. In fact, if there's a whole group of Ice Guys and someone's actual life is actually in jeopardy, that's like 7-on-1. I'm going to die. I can't do that. You got to be smart about these things. Pick your battles. So, no, it's not my time to shine. The fuck is wrong with you? All right. I just found that to be unbelievable. A, he's an Uncle Tomas. And he actually would say that on camera. If you raise your voice, I will erase your voice. Wow. All right, folks, I'm going to take a break. It's time for potty. Rebecca says you would use your weapon to defend another person. Well, yeah, within reason. Because, like in the case of Preddy, like if they were shooting him and I pulled out my pistola, and they have, armor, there's no way I could unalive all of them without getting unalived myself. So, correct. That's exactly what I'm telling you. If I had the advantage of surprise and I wasn't outnumbered, then yes. That's what I'm telling you. All right. Don't go anywhere. I will be right back. Stand down, stand by, and stand down. Comments. The whole point of the Second Amendment is to ensure the security of the free state, says Piano Finger Banger. Rebecca says, that's a threat against my First Amendment rights. If I speak, you're going to erase my voice. There's a lot of problems with what that guy said. Scott says, unless you're a pretty good shot. Okay. So now you understand who sent me the pretty good meme. I kept you anonymous, Scott. Now it seems like you're down with it, you dummy. Rebecca says the government, as in ICE, is suppressing free speech. I think Nick laughed at the pretty good meme. I think that might be too soon. You know, you ever do that where you say a joke and it's like, too soon. I'm a pretty good shot. Fuck. Yeah, I can't be supporting audience members who are picking up the ball and running with pretty good shot. You assholes. What the fuck? Nick says it's never too soon. Oh, my God. Well, apparently not. For you assholes. All right, palate cleanser. 9-year-old video. Canadian cop at an overpass doing an interview. And I just stumbled upon it. Somewhere in Ontario. Cop at the top of the bridge, on a bridge overlooking the interstate. And there's traffic jam below, bumper to bumper. That might have been what he was doing an interview about. And the reporter goes, hey, Mr. Cop. I don't know what they're called there. Constables, police, whatever. There's a road rage incident going on below us. And so the cop has to, this dude, officer, whatever, springs into action live on TV.
There's a road rage incident just right there.
Hey! Now's the time. Hey!
Say you're sorry and get back in your cords.
Get back in the car. Grow up. Sit down or you're going to get arrested.
Get moving. Listen to the officer.
Both of you.
Let's get moving. Listen to the officer.
Grow up. Come on, boys. Move it. Everybody's a winner. Don't worry.
There's a road rage.
Oh, that's great. Come on, boys. I love that. Cole is here. He says, who are ICE going to kill next? Some guy named Target. Pretty good Target. Cole, where were you earlier, you idiot? I was talking about Trump saying that you can't carry guns. You're like Mr. Second Amendment. How does that set with you, a Trump acolyte that you are, and Trump making the announcement that it's suggesting that it was Pretty's fault because he was carrying his pistola? How do you feel about the comment, you can't have guns, you can't walk in with guns, you just can't, you can't walk in with guns, you can't do that, but it's just a very unfortunate incident? That was your guy. I'm very happy with this response. Cole says, yeah, Trump is wrong and can go fuck himself. Bob suggests that it was the gun that went off. You're the only person saying that. Nick says, Trump better knock off the gun talk, or I'm not going to vote for him for his third term. Cole says, carry your gun everywhere. Well, of course. Well, within reason. I mean, that you can. Like in Michigan, unfortunately, I can't carry that pistola when I go to a bar or like an arena or a church or a school. I take it back. You can in a church if you have the approval of the church leader in writing. And you can in a restaurant, and there's a percentage. They have to have a certain amount of their income come from food and a certain amount from booze. If it's too much booze, like if 70% of the money that they get is from booze, then you can't do it. It's a certain percentage. I forget what that is. It's easier just not carrying it into a bar. Chris says Zane packing a heater in between the penalty boxes would be pretty funny. I have. It was years ago, but then I said this is a bad idea. It's a felony if you get busted with that. Bob says, I can't take mine to work legally, not allowed there. Yeah, businesses will say, look, you can't bring it in here. Vegas Spy says, I mean, Cash Money was kind of right when he said you can't bring guns to you can't bring guns to protest you can bring guns to protest, just not in Minnesota. Megan says, do they post their percentages so the concealed carry people can decide if they can take their gun to a certain establishment? I don't think so. Josh says, if it's concealed, how do they know? They don't, but if you get busted doing that, that's a big problem. Bob says it's a policy, not a law, not legally allowed in the post office. Is that where you work now, post office? All right. The Australian Open tennis tournament is going on. I think her name is Coco Gauff, the American. And she played poorly the other day. And then she was so pissed off after she played poorly that she went to an area that she thought was a safe place to have a temper tantrum and destroyed her racket. And she was like bashing the racket on the ground, and then that's the end of it. Well, it turns out that there was a camera that caught it. So she kind of tried to go to where there was a place where she could have privacy, and there wasn't any. So live on TV and now around the world, we've got great video of her destroying the racket. Now, I don't have a problem with a tennis player destroying their racket. But she has a problem with the fact that it was caught on camera. And so now she is calling for more privacy, like less cameras. I don't know if she's going to win that. Let's get into the clip.
Coco Gauff is calling for more player privacy
But she is built like a brick shithouse.
Player privacy at the Australian Open after smashing a racket in what she thought was a private spot. Gauff lost in the quarterfinals Tuesday morning and tried to vent her frustration away from the cameras, only to have this moment broadcast live. She says she tried to go somewhere where there were no cameras, but at Melbourne Park, cameras are everywhere, leaving players with little private space beyond the locker room.
She said, all right, no more. Less cameras. So basically, she's going to have to go to a place where it's completely secluded and isolated for her to destroy a racket. That's saying something. If you're so pissed off that you calmly and coolly walk to an area where you think is a good place to do this, and you've had enough time to think about it, and then you're still going to then turn the switch and go into high gear and have your temper tantrum. That's a level of pissed off that is rare, I think. David says she's acting like Happy Gilmore. This is a good moment for her. People love that. So she doesn't like that people saw it. Rebecca says, meh. John McEnroe did it all the time. If you're a star athlete, you should assume that there are cameras on you. Rich says, did she call the racket the N-word like the NFK would? Vegas Spy says, so she wants to have her temper tantrums in private. She needs to go in the safe space room, I guess. She's going to have to start playing tennis in the bathroom. Rebecca says, go lose your shit in the locker room. No cameras are there. Vegas Spy says, as a former all-state tennis player, if you aren't willing to smash your racket on the court, then it's not worth it. Have you ever done that? So as an all-state tennis player, though, you're playing at like the high school level. Do they give you a little leeway to have a meltdown like that? Because tennis players do that. Tyler says, welcome to being a professional athlete. Suck it up and just throw your tantrums in front of everyone. Chris says losing your shit is very therapeutic. I can't remember the last time I lost my shit. I kind of got mad at Pooh Bear yesterday. I did not lose my shit. But when I found out that Ice was at the daycare, I said, can you call her? I want to talk to her. And because I wanted to tell her, because I know how she is. I know she's going to mouth off. As Tyler says, in the garage with a golf club after a Lions game. I was just thinking about that. I was going to tell that story. You and I are on the same page. I said to Pooh Bear, I go, can you get her on the phone? She goes, hey, this is Eric Zane, and your information is being sold online. You know, the personal stuff. Search your own name. It's surprising what's out there. That's because people are taking your information and they're selling it. I've got a way to make all of your personal information disappear. You are not for sale. Whether you agreed to it or not, that information is available for people to buy and sell. Not okay. It's 100% true. Data brokers make billions selling your private details, and you get nothing. You don't even get a choice. Aura lets you fight back. AURA. They remove your personal data from broker sites and keep it off. Aura also alerts you fast if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura is more than just data broker removal. It's a full digital security suite that protects every part of your life online. Aura gives you a VPN to stay private, antivirus to block threats, a password manager to keep logins safe, and spam call protection to cut off the scammers. Aura also scans the dark web for your most sensitive info like your social security number, bank logins, and passwords, and notifies you instantly if they are exposed. And if your identity is ever stolen, you're backed up by up to $5 million in insurance and 24/7 U.S.-based fraud support to help you recover quickly. And right now, you can try Aura free for 14 days when you visit aura.com/remove. AURA.com/remove. That's enough time for Aura to start removing your personal information from data broker sites. Sign up today at aura.com/remove and get the peace of mind that your privacy, identity, and finances are safeguarded. AURA.com/remove. Certain terms apply. See the site for details. Well, don't get her all upset. And I go, okay, first of all, I know how I can talk to my daughter, okay? If I want to talk to my daughter about something, don't assume that I'm going to go in there guns a-blazing and piss her all off. She's an adult. I want to have an adult conversation. And she did not like that at all. Dare I say, I think I lost some Pooh Bear points. And she called me a cock over it. And I'm like, yeah, I you know. She goes, well, I just don't want you to get her upset. I go, well, that's her problem and my problem. Well, you always tell me how to talk to her. And then I'm like, yeah, because you're always fucking picking a fight with her. Megan says, why is Diana your secretary? Couldn't you have called her? Yeah, I didn't have my phone on me, and she actually had it in her hand. Vegas Spy says when he had his temper tantrum, no leeway. You would forfeit the match if you lost the match, and it happens after your match. A point gets deducted from your team. It happened to me a few times. Also, high school, then college tennis. I forget who people are. Who are you again? I forget. Oh, my God. EZ venting his frustrations in the garage with a golf club after a Lions game. Midland, Michigan. Lions lose. I'm drunk. Get the golf club. Fucking Scott Mitchell. Asshole. That's right. Anthony. Yes. I start swinging that. I remember destroying the aquarium that had no water in it in the garage. Just beating the shit out of everything with a golf club. And then I hear, you okay? Turn around, it's my fucking neighbor, Ken. Like, oh, hey, buddy. Yeah, just, taking some inventory of things here and cleaning out the garage. And he's like, yeah, I don't think you are. You gonna be all right? Yeah. It's the Lions lost. No big deal. Never talked to him again. Kids are out playing in front of his house. I come out, kids go inside. Tyler says, hey, man, I was just testing the durability of this golf club. Piano Fingerbanger says, Ken thought you were a serial killer for sure. Chris says, this story was totally sponsored by Miller Genuine Draft. All right. Well, anyway. So, Bill Belichick, who I think has 8 Super Bowl victories. How many Super Bowls does Belichick have? I think he's won 8. I'm sorry. 6 with New England, 2 as a defensive coordinator for the Giants. So 8 Super Bowls. He holds the record for the most Super Bowl victories by a head coach. And yesterday was the vote for the Hall of Fame. Now, outside of Tom Brady for the Hall of Fame, there has never been more of a sure thing than Bill Belichick on the first ballot. I think you need 40 of 50 votes to be a Hall of Famer. Well, he didn't get it. And people are like, what? And then it was being discussed that the guy who runs the Indianapolis Colts or did run the Indianapolis Colts or whatever the fuck, Bill Polian, he was lobbying the voters. And I don't know who the voters are, the writers or former players or whoever the fuck. It's a select group of people. He was lobbying them so that they did not vote for Belichick to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And he was successful. And so now everybody's like, what the fuck? Now, I don't care because I think he should not be a first ballot Hall of Famer because of his stupid girlfriend. That's why I think he should be kept out of the Hall of Fame, at least initially. But that's just me. But so he gets screwed. Linda says everybody hates that guy. That's exactly right. Nobody likes Bill Belichick. And Polian said that his behavior during the Deflategate, that cheating scandal, and then the Spygate, that he should not get the Hall of Fame right off. That's a reason to withhold that. So it worked. So Bill Belichick not in the Hall of Fame, and everybody's like, what the fuck? Jimmy Johnson, the legendary Hall of Fame head coach himself, he is not taking this lightly. He wrote, I would like to know the names of the assholes who did not vote for Bill Belichick. They are too cowardly to identify themselves. There's a lot going on about this concerning Spygate. Here's Bill Cowher, Hall of Fame head coach, talking about how normal that practice was, the one they fined Bill Belichick for. Everyone was doing it. Then they accused them again of filming practices before a Super Bowl, and the reporter retracted the story. This is that discussion.
I would just say to you in regards to Spygate, they were doing nothing different than anybody else was doing. We don't have to worry about it in today's game, because today's game, you know, we had the microphone. You could talk to the people on the field. Back then, you had the signal. We had wristbands. Okay, so the wristbands we would use, and Coach LeBeau was old school, and Coach LeBeau says, okay, I will do the wristbands. He did it for like one series. And then all of a sudden, he got back and hey, guess what that is? It doesn't take long. That's man-free. Okay, that's single high.
So his signals on the sideline is what you're talking about?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we're trying to pick them up as well. I mean, they did a better job of picking up our signals than we did pick up theirs.
Okay, so what's happening here is Bill Belichick is paying a penance because Bill Polian doesn't like him. He's basically getting the Barry Bonds treatment there. Tyler says there is a point to be made about him having little to no success without Tom Brady. Yeah, I know. But still, it's Belichick. 8 Super Bowl titles, 6 as a head coach, 2 as a defensive coordinator. But I love the drama. I'm curious as to what the girlfriend is saying, because she's like a big control freak, how she responds to this. I love the fact that she might actually have a red ass about this. Donut Dan checks in after yesterday's beating. He says, I just got here. Are there any stories that you have not covered yet that I can F up for you? Ben Glaze says, it's so hot that Bill Belichick has her. That's hot to you? Imagine that sex. She can't find him attractive, right? I forget her name, but she is super hot. Jordan something. All right. But you're right. He hasn't done shit outside of when Tom Brady was the quarterback. Back to Minnesota. Let's see, is she a representative or a senator? Representative Ilhan Omar. She is the Somali chick, right? She was speaking at like a town hall yesterday, and some wacko stood up with a syringe, and he pushed the plunger down, and whatever was in the syringe, we don't know, went all over her. That guy's in trouble. She wanted to kick his ass, too. Watch this video and as we have this story.
Remain high. Breaking tonight, a scary moment at a town hall in Minneapolis held by...
Okay, there it was. He just squirted all that shit on her, and I don't know what it was. All right, I got the spinning wheel of death now. That's unfortunate. That's breaking my heart. God damn it. Any of these ABC stations, it's always the same thing every time. Fucks up, and then you got to sit through the goddamn commercial.
Breaking tonight, a scary moment at a town hall in Minneapolis held by Representative Ilhan Omar when a man charged at her and sprayed her with an unknown substance in a syringe. Our Sharon Yu was in the room when all of this happened and joins us with details.
Yeah, Julie, is just all of it so happened so quickly tonight. And
Nick says it's staged. You know, I never think like that, but Since you say that, now I am thinking that.
Representative Omar was calling for abolishing ICE and calling on DHS Secretary Kristi Noem to resign. A man who was in the first or second row of the town hall got up, lunged at her with what appeared to be a syringe full of brown liquid and sprayed her. Shortly after, the room filled with the smell of something vinegary.
Okay, I thought she was going to say shit. Like it was hot diarrhea in the syringe.
We must abolish ICE.
One man is in custody tonight for allegedly attacking Representative Ilhan Omar with an unknown substance. Our cameras caught the moment.
And DHS Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
Video shows the man bolt from up near the front, lunge towards her and spray her with a syringe filled with a brown liquid. Omar's security team quickly pummeled the man to the ground and restrained him. It's unclear what he was saying, but people around Omar quickly pointed out they could smell something.
He sprayed something on her. He sprayed something, and it smells terrible.
As the man...
Okay, they're saying it smells terrible, so it might have been shit water. I don't know. Maybe he has bad-smelling jizz.
...was escorted out.
He should have had some of the people, taste it.
...saying, quote, she's pinning us against each other.
Ooh, make a hole! Pinning us against each other! Make a hole! Make a hole! Ooh.
Minneapolis police say they booked the man for a third-degree assault, but he has not officially been charged. MPD's forensic unit is working to process the scene. Representative Omar's press team said in a statement, Omar continued because, quote, she doesn't let bullies win.
No, we will continue this. Are not going to get away with it.
Omar finished the town hall, took questions, and stayed until the end.
I learned at a young age you don't give in to threats. You look them in the face and you stand strong. They pick the wrong person every day.
No, she didn't even change.
The DFL party chair
that one chick was saying, you got to go change your shirt.
Said in a statement this evening asking all Minnesotans to condemn this act of political violence, saying that constant personal attacks against Omar must stop. And on the other side, Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace also said in a statement she vehemently disagrees with Representative Omar's ideology.
Isn't that vehemently?
But said, quote, no.
Did she just say vehement? What did she say?
And on the other side, Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace also said in a statement she vehemently disagrees with Representative Omar's ideologies, but said, quote, no elected official should face physical attacks. This is not who we are.
All right. Okay. Vehemently. Must resign or face impeachment. Just fucking impeach her. This is grandstanding. That's the other thing. Unknown substance, but she doesn't bother changing. Tyler says that's a free beer style pronunciation. Numerous people saying it's staged. So I was thinking about this. I was thinking about it more right after the initial. The dude was murdered pretty on Saturday, and then what was his name? Tim Walsh says, that's it. We're getting the National Guard. We have, because they're saying, all right, he has called the National Guard. And then I'm like, well, wait a minute. What does that even mean? Now, what it meant was they're going to give away donuts. And I'm not kidding about that. The National Guard showed up, and they put on yellow smocks. And they went ahead, and they, when the protesters were there protesting ICE, they would give donuts and coffee. And so that is the extent of it. And then some of you might be like, or even back when that story broke that the National Guard is getting called in, like, oh boy, here we go. This is going to be great. Well, that's a civil war if that were to happen. And so I started thinking to myself, if as this continues, what about the idea of some far left extremists banding together to actually conduct acts of violence against ICE? That is not beyond the realm of possibilities. Like did you ever see that movie, The Patriot, with Mel Gibson, when he's doing those guerrilla war tactics against the redcoats? It would not surprise me if this continues in Minnesota, if this gets escalated to that fucking level. actual insurrection. Would not surprise me at all if people just get that fed up. Birch Barlow says they already are planning it. I don't know how you know that. Blue State Rob says MAGA always says things are staged when it's something they don't like. Well, yeah, true, but it did seem a little stagey. And I'm not MAGA. Piano Finger Banger says, LOL, if this happened to some Republican rep, you all would be calling for this dude to be locked up. But instead, you all cry that it's staged because you don't agree with her politics. Well, I don't know about that. Blue State Rob says, what uninformed idiots don't know is that the National Guard is there to help with local law enforcement, keep the peace, and not fight federal troops. The Minnesota National Guard was passing out donuts to peaceful protesters. Right. But the way it was announced, though, it isn't so much about people thinking that there's going to be a war. The way it was announced was, Tim Walz calls in the Guard. So that's weird because they're not going to do anything. They don't have any jurisdiction with that. Tyler says National Guard versus ICE, a battle of weekend warrior wannabe soldiers. Bread Bull Brain Chris says 3rd Engineer Battalion, 24th Donut Division. Nick says, good luck. I remember Waco. You aren't winning a war with feds. Yes. Roostate Blob says, yeah, it's written that way because people don't understand how the system works. Calling in the National Guard is a pretty standard procedure and not that big a deal when you really look at how governing is supposed to happen. Oh, yeah, big time. But you're right. Most people don't realize that. And when they sell it as, oh, there's people are furious. Oh, my God, there's a dead man on the street. Walz calls in the National Guard. It should say, who cannot do anything at all except hand out donuts. Ladies and gentlemen, we are moments away from the asshole of the day. If you have a nomination, by all means, I think I know who it's going to be, though. I think I know who it's going to be. Thank you, as always, to Kuiper Tree Care. In West Michigan, if you have an issue with a tree, you want to get rid of it, this is who you call. Tree removal, stump grinding, tree trimming, storm clean, storm cleanup is what I meant to say. God, what the fuck is my problem? They can help you with whatever you need at Kuiper Tree Care, Kuiper, treecare.com. King's Room Barbershop invites you to reach out to them when you need to get a haircut. They've got 3 locations in West Michigan, Northland Drive, Caledonia, and at 821 36th Street in beautiful Wyoming, Michigan. Website is kingsroom.net. That's kingsroom.net. On their website, there's exact locations, directions, schedules, you name it. Haircut's going to set you back $21, $18 if you are retired or active military. Please mention me when you go there. Hey, when it comes to healthcare, that is tricky business, especially if you have your healthcare through the Affordable Care Act or Obamacare. Frank Fuss can help you every step of the way. Reach out to Frank at appointmentwithfrank.com, and Frank will put you front and center with all of the information you need to make sure that you are making the right choices when it comes to your health care. Folks that take advantage of the Affordable Care Act are like me, self-employed. Maybe their boss does not offer insurance, or perhaps they are in between jobs. Appointmentwithfrank.com for more information. Bread Bull Brain Chris says storm clean teen up is what I said. And then he says, way to go, free beer. Boy, yeah, that felt weird. Nick says, asshole of the day, Ilham Omar. No, I'm not going to make her the asshole of the day. Are you kidding me? It is Kate Creer and John. More so Kate, though. That's got to be disappointing. You can't be happy with that, Kate. What the fuck? You fat fucking loser. Congratulations. You have won the asshole of the day, you fat, ugly whore. Megan says they'll love this award. I bet it'll be on their website if they have one. Oh, probably. Disgusting. Okay, that's going to do it for me. Appreciate you, folks. We'll talk to you a little later on. Check me out on Patreon, patreon.com/Eric Zane. That's it. Have a good one. Bye-bye.